Hey, hi, everybody. Jing Shuan and I are having a chat while we were waiting for you to come in, talking about weapons. Actually, I wasn't talking about weapons initially, but Jing Shuan has interested me in scythes and sickles, and I wanted to know the difference. So now I know the difference between them. One is large and one is smaller. And traditionally, they are for cutting crops like this you see in the picture here. But obviously, the Grim Reaper carries one. Cool. Okay, thanks for that piece of knowledge. All right, so I actually want to show this page, which is about the double-edged sword. Okay. And what is a double-edged sword? Let's have a look at a sword. Can you tell me what a double-edged sword is? What does it mean? Can you show me an example? If you find a good picture of a double-edged sword. Why is it called a double-edged sword? Can anyone tell me? I'm waiting to see if anyone in the chat has written what a double-edged sword is. Good, Kartik. Yes, it's got two blades. It's got two blades. So I'm actually looking for an example of a two-bladed sword. I can't quite see it there. I guess this is probably, this Viking sword is pretty close. You can see the short little video here showing that it's actually got two blades. So it's sharp on one side and it's sharp on the other side. Okay, so that is the weapon itself, but we often talk about things being a double-edged sword. What does it mean when we say something is a double-edged sword? So this is the actual sword, but when we talk about something being a double-edged sword, what does that mean? Anyone want to have a go? Okay, let me choose Birkin. Birkin, what do you think it means when you say something is a double-edged sword? Could you unmute, please?
I think it means that it has like a pro and a con.
Great, thank you very much. That's a very short version of, yes, a very neat version of what we mean when we say something is a double-edged sword. So if you have a sword like this, you imagine yourself holding it in your hand. It is a great advantage for you in a battle because it's very sharp and very long, and you will be able to protect yourself and maybe kill an enemy. On the other hand, if you are clumsy like me, I don't think I should be carrying this kind of weapon because I'm quite likely to cut myself. So I don't really need an enemy. I'm more likely to cut myself. So I think it's better I stay out of battle. Um, but this is why we say double-edged sword. It's beneficial because you can fight your enemies, but it's dangerous because you can actually cut yourself while using it. So we often use, as Birkin said, to talk about pros and cons or advantages and disadvantages of something. And that's what we're looking at today. So thank you very much all for your input. And we're going to look at social media. So your topic today was social media. And I've got a document here, and we're going to do a bit of brainstorming. So when I looked at the worksheet is very good. It gives you a basic layout of an argumentative situational writing essay where you want to argue pros and cons, like Birkin said. But I don't find the examples very compelling. So as you'll see in your slides, we need to actually be thinking about um, some details to make it interesting. So to make it interesting, we have Hang on a minute. I'm not going to this bit yet. We're going to this first. Okay, so a double-edged sword. It's what are your views? This is the question. And we start to think about that. You want to have some good examples. So you can give a definition of what social media is and a definition of double-edged sword. That helps to your reader to understand what you mean. You're not actually talking about weapons and what do you mean by social media. Some people have a very wide definition for social media, but what are you going to talk about? For example, you might choose to say, there are many different types of social media. The ones I'd like to focus on today are the ones I'm familiar with. So you can choose the channels which you are familiar with and talk about them. Okay, so when you've got your definitions there, it actually helps to have this at the beginning. This is a scientific approach to writing so that everybody is on the same page. We know what you mean. We can't argue that, what you're saying doesn't relate to Instagram or it doesn't relate to TikTok or Facebook, So being able to have a good definition makes it good at the beginning of your essay so that readers are not confused. Okay, so it's asking the question here, social media is a double-edged sword. What are your views? And in this essay, you are supposed to have negatives and positives. So in the chat, if you could please think about, let's start with beneficial. What are the positives? Okay, could you write in the chat 1 or 2 points of positive and beneficial aspects of social media? Yeah. Okay, so great. Okay. Okay, can you all put your views in? Kaushik, I think you just joined us. We're looking at the positive aspects of social media. I like your choices, and luck. I try to share joy as much as I can on social media. Okay. Kaushik, we're looking at positive side first, but I'll hold on to your point for the negative. Yeah. We're looking at the positive side first. Thank you. Making new friends. Okay. Any more? Wesley, have you got something to put in there? Bernie, can you add something in, please? Yes, Kartik, I've got yours. Have I not put it down? Sorry. Okay, I've got everyone's now. Then Wesley, thanks. Just don't have yours, Bernie. Can you add something in, please? Oh, that was Bernie. Sorry. Yep. What do you mean by that, Bernie? How is that an advantage? And how is it social media? Bernie, can you tell us about Chat GPT? What do you mean? Is that social media? Do you count that as social media? If so, how is it social media? Yes. Um, but are you interacting? You're saying you're interacting with, okay, can interact with, so this is not with humans, can interact with an intelligent system. Yes, I get you. Okay. So a lot of people use ChatGPT to discover more about something, ask it questions and in-depth questions and follow-up questions to create more knowledge. So rather than talking to a human, actually using the intelligent system to interact with. Fair enough. Chloe is already on to the negative side. So is there anything more on the positive side? You can write it in the chat. I'll still look, but I'm going to go to the negatives now. And Chloe started here already with as did Kaushik. Jimin, can you also add in a positive point as well?